Hello and welcome back. I'm Joe, and this is a fix for work and resources of a republic concerning rail. Nicola was nice enough to send me this republic that's relatively early, just started rail, but things are just not working right. Part of the problems are we have too much orange, some purple, we don't have a lot of blocks, and a couple other issues, but we can probably fix this relatively quickly, so come with me and I'll show you. First things first, here is a very simple example of what the colors mean of the different rail. We have orange, purple, blue, more orange over here, more blue, more orange, and more purple. What do they mean? Well, blue is the best one. That is a block. A block has one entrance and one exit and nothing else. Those are really good in a lot of cases if they're long enough. If they're really short and a train can hang out of the end of one of those blocks, that can cause issues. Then we have orange. Orange is a junction. A junction is simply having more than one entrance or more than one exit. In this case, we have one entrance here and one exit here and another exit right here, if you will. So there are three connections. That makes it a junction. And that makes it orange. Then we have purple here. Purple just means that is at least that is a junction. So more than one entrance or exit, or both. And it is connected to another junction. So this one is a junction, that's why this one is purple. Same thing over here. This orange thing is a junction, this thing is a junction itself, the purple piece, and that's why it's purple. So that's the first thing. This train doesn't want to move. Why doesn't this train want to move? Well, if we look at the signals and the colors, it's relatively obvious if you know how the railroads work, but for new players, I don't think this is as simple. So the problem is that this train is actually blocking itself. Why is that? Because this is a block signal. A block signal looks into the block directly in front of us, which in this case is the orange block. You see this? And it's looking there and it's seeing, is there a train in that block? A block signal does not check if there's a train in front of it on the track that it's going to take, on the rail that it's going to take. And that's probably the misconception here. So this signal says, is there a train in the block in front of me? And the answer is yes. This train that is behind the signal, because it's still orange, it's still the same block, that's why this signal is blocking this train, which is not very ideal. So this signal shouldn't be here, but there are bigger issues. So that train should move now. But to fix this, we're actually going to send both trains all the way to the depot to actually do some more radical work in a sec. Okay, now that everyone goes away, the biggest issue is that there's too much orange. That's really it. And we have a lot of things here that are really close to each other. It's not ideal, but I think we can work around it. We're going to destroy a couple things. We have a little bit of money here. I hope that's enough to do what we need to do, but we will just take out a loan because this is a teaching opportunity. So first, let's remove all the pieces that create really awkward junctions for us. The way I'm doing this is just left shift and then drag on the delete or cancel railway piece that makes really quick use of this. While I do that, here's another thing. This fuel station is not on the way. It is it is not on the line. It is not on a path that trains regularly go through. They go past this diesel station, but the game does not recognize that. The game is just like, well, this diesel station is not on my regularly scheduled line, therefore I will just ignore it until I need it. And when I need it, I could be anywhere on the network, and then I have to find a way to turn around and get to the diesel station, which is not very helpful. So having a diesel station out here is almost fatal. You should put a diesel station on the track where trains are actually passing through very often. If you don't want to do that, you have to assign the fuel station to the train line directly, otherwise it's not working. So this is not going to stay here, which is why we're just going to remove the track here as well. Okay, we haven't solved anything yet, because the biggest problem we have here is that there isn't enough real estate to actually connect all the pieces the way that we need to connect them. Let's look at the overlay a little bit to see what we can do. This is not ideal, but it's not the end of the world, because the trains that we currently have are not as long as the customs house, which the customs house has a length of 117 meters. If you're not sure when you're looking at this, just take the measurement tool, click on one end, click on the other end, and it will tell you about 150, 117 meter. The longest train that we currently have is just 107 meters, which will tell you up here. So as long as that is there, that's fine, but I would move this diamond crossing over to the roadside, and we may do that later. And then when you want to signal this, as we don't have any signals right now, definitely use a mixed signal. We don't have room to fit an actual signal in here, which then means this is actually a full block. So that's not going to work. In that case, we're just going to use the thing that I just said. We're going to remove those that diamond crossing there. We're going to add our crossing over here. I like having them across roads because it actually means that the roads have a lower chance of getting blocked by trains, which is good if you have any frequent deliveries, because once a train is there, a car cannot go through until the train has passed. So we're going to put one there, just build that for the time being, and then signal it up. To signal it, use the mixed signals with the chain signal pointing at the junction and the block signal pointing at the customs house, because this is a terminal. That's very important. If it's a terminal, you can do this. Otherwise, you cannot use bidirectional signals like this. Okay, that one doesn't fix anything. It's just one suggestion. The next thing that we want to do is reduce the number of junctions that we absolutely need. And to do that, we just have to be a little clever because there's a lot of stuff going on here. The rail construction office probably wants to be connected relatively close to all of this, but well, we don't want this to have to go very far to do anything. We have a junction over here that seems to just care about, and let's see what we're doing here. There's a train line, and that train line looks like it's doing everything. So let's assume that this aggregate loading station just needs to be connected in a direct line to the customs house, which that is also dangerous if you have directional dependent lines, but you can actually fix those with waypoints as well if you absolutely have to. So we may actually make use of that because this aggregate loading station is actually bidirectional. So we could have a track or a rail track coming out here connecting to another side if we really want to. Okay, good. Where can we run the rail that doesn't cause issues? There's a lot of stuff built here, which is a little unfortunate because rerouting the rail line is probably a thing that we absolutely have to do, but it's not going to be easy to do that right away because I would like to just make a sharp turn up here and then run through the back of this whole area, because that gives us a lot more wiggle room than what we have right now. We can still connect our depot and our construction office and this guy to whatever we need to make ends meet. So let's try to do just what I just said. Can you come in here? Yes, you could. Okay, good. Can you go back here and run caddy corner? Well, this one's a little better than I expected, actually. Let's check. Where are the outside track? Good. This is not going to be pretty. I'm just working with what I'm giving, and I don't think that anyone here really cares about the prettiness more than the effectiveness. So we're going to come out here, and then we're going to connect into this section, and that should get us there. I am the outside track. That is the leaving track, which means what I just placed here is not very helpful. Let's do that again. This is going to be concrete, right? You know what? You know what? I'm a little tight over here, so if I really want to make this work, I probably have to move some road. That should be hopefully easy. Get rid of that one. We have a bunch of footpaths there that I would like to just temporarily disable. And when you're playing this, obviously you have the freedom to just fix anything that I break. But for right now, let's just fix the rail line and worry about the rest later. Get this one in here. This is now our inside track, and the inside track should connect to this side. Easy enough. Then we run the next track out here. Very good. It actually connects there. And now we gave ourselves a lot more room on that side that we didn't have before. That's good. Plus, as a bonus, we're actually going through the fuel station now. Well, it's a little longer path. I don't think there's an argument about that. But we're actually turning this into a required path piece. Okay, this one doesn't want to connect because there's a little bit of power line problem there. No problem for us. Let's just get rid of it. Again, we can fix this, and this is really hard to fix in realistic mode if you play super serious, and this is just something where you just have to turn things off for a little while. Okay, that one is connected. Very good. Now, where do we want our rail construction office to go? We really don't have a chance to come out here without destroying a lot of buildings, so I'm not going to try that. And we already know that we do want this guy to be connected to what's going on over here. And that's fine. We can probably almost leave all of this as it exists, but I really want to force my trains to go through there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove the rail that we have going through here. Hurts a little bit, but that's okay. I don't think I have to delete all of this, but we're going to get rid of that. And there's a little piece left over. Let's get cool. And then this just becomes our direct line to the border for whatever they need from here. Good enough. If we want to, I could also set this up so that we connect it to something else, but we're just going to see. Make this a crossover because I think that will be helpful, but we want our rail construction office to actually be connected to this too. So that's going to get a junction here and a crossing right here, right after the junction. There we go. And this one, as far as I care, can just get connected like that. We can also, if we really want to be wild, and I think we do, we can make this one go the other way. This one can just connect out here and just become a little bit of a wild card for having an easier connection for our rail construction office. Good. Now we have this one. We have a small piece of track here now. We have a small piece of track here now that we can turn into a block track, which is really, really important. So let's build this really quick. Let them get their things done. And that's very nice. Now we place our semaphores here for the first time. This one can stay exactly as it is. That's fine. This one should be able to stay exactly as it is too. Let's get a couple signals in here to make this one work a little more fluently, where we always want to do the chain in and the block out, just like so. And just continue doing what we're doing because you're going to need it. And then get your two-way connection just in a couple places. And now we have beautifully long connections, like you see there, that are not chained together into one little block, which is what we want. So that looks good. That looks good. And let's do the last one here. And now all of our blocks that we have are long enough to contain a full train. That's good. What I don't want to do now is get this depot and connect it into this little block that's already too small, because we don't want to shorten this block if we don't absolutely have to. So I think our best option may look like this, and people may disagree with that, but let's get rid of these guys. Try to run a piece of track into this. And I don't know if we have enough room, but I really hope that we do, because whatever we can do to make this a little easier is going to be a good thing. Too sharp of a turn. Okay. I think we have a chance right here to connect to something. So now this depot is connected to the customs house through there. That is a good thing, because now we can send any train that we want to the depot. That's the first part. The second part is connecting the depot to the rest of the network. And that may be a little harder, but we have this. This is not ideal. I wouldn't do it this way, but now we have a way to get everyone onto the regular network and into here without any issues, and they can go wherever they want. The only downside here is that this train, once it enters the network, is not going to find a fuel station right away. But there may be other ways that we have to fix this anyways, which is we need a turnaround option for someone. And for right now, I think I would do that right here in the very back of the network. Just add a quick turnaround. Doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to work. So add some tracks, add some track there. Extend this out until it lets you build the actual continuation and turn it around like that. Should be fine. And now, even if a train gets stuck here, if they want to make it to the fuel station, they can. They just have to go all the way out here. That's easy enough, right? Okay. What else are we doing? Well, we have this guy. This guy's supposed to collect waste, or get waste here, which honestly, we're not going to get to use that for a very long time. But if we get a chance to actually get to this point, we're just going to do that. Here's what I will recommend in this case. Get close to the road junction that we already have and place another junction there. It will make your life a lot easier, and you're not really losing a lot of real estate to do something, but now the trains have access to what they had access to before. At least I think so. Replace your signals as you need them. So block signal here, a block signal here, a chain signal here because now we're entering a junction there, and then we want a mixed signal right here to enter this section. Very good. We probably don't want to signal this. This is still too much orange right here, but it's better than it was before. And now that I see this, I think we will benefit from moving this junction up a little bit. So let's remove this piece, add a little bit of concrete rail, run it close to where we're going here, and now just add a simple junction right there. And doing that should give us an opportunity to have an in and an out track, because too much orange like we're seeing here is just going to hurt you at some point, especially because your rail construction office will probably start blocking your regular trains that are supposed to be in there. So let's not do that. Get our signals in here, and now we have much less orange in the section. There's still a lot of orange here, but honestly, this is just because that signal's in the wrong space. Putting that here should make that really easy. Okay, great. That all looks fine. There's a little bit of purple here. We don't want that. Let's add a normal chain signal like so, and we are back in business. Great. So a lot more blue, a lot less orange. It's not the original path that you probably wanted, but it should give us what we need. Another thing that we'll recommend here is there's this guy that's connected to something, and this is our dump. Cool. Can you come out here? And this is important. Do not add more junctions than you absolutely have to. We have a junction right here. This one already exists. We can expand that junction a little bit, but we don't want to add another junction really close to this, because at that point we may as well just treat it as one junction. So let's get a good crossover, because you will need a good crossover, and I'm not sure where this first train is going to come from, so we're just going to start a crossover there. Make it as short as you can. Beautiful. And then from here, we're going to get some track that connects to this guy. And now a train that comes from there can absolutely connect to this thing. Our junction is only twice as big as it was before. Get a couple signals in here, and all trains will be relatively happy to move around right there. Looks like I'm missing a last mixed signal here. Cool. That mixed signal is turned around wrong. Okay, so all of this is now connected. There's a chain signal. Looks like we have the same problem over... Oh, no, we may be able to squeeze in the signal that we want just barely. But this is now no longer a terminal station because I put the circle back here. With that circle, you're just kind of required to let your trains actually enter on one side and exit on the other side, which here really just means, okay, this junction is no longer going to be used as such. We don't need a crossover here because they're going to use the turnaround that we just built. Wrong thing. There you go. Thank you. Then we can just make this a very normal signal now. Come on. There you go. Normal signal there. You can leave here. Once you exit the station, you can do that. You can enter the station here, get another signal there and here. Don't get me wrong. There is a high possibility of this messing with your rail construction cranes, but that is another thing that we have to solve because currently there's no construction going on. Obviously, I turned realistic mode off to show you this fix. But you will just have to fix that with the signals that you have. But you should be able to get at least all the way out here, and all you need is just a crossover back to wherever you need to go. So having this should solve all our problems once all the rail is built. Let's make that happen. Everything is ready. Let's talk to our trains and tell them that they can go again. All right, trains are going. Let's follow them for a little while. I think they should be pretty happy with the setup that we had, so let's just go watch them for a little bit and see what happens. All right, so that seems to work pretty well. I noticed one thing that you probably don't want, but there's a cargo train station and a cargo train station. They both do the same thing. You probably don't need to double them up that way, but I'm guessing that was probably just an attempt to solve something that wasn't really working before, so that is fine. Just fixing those power lines there, probably they caused some type of issue. Now, where's our train? Our train is just parked here. Can you still work? Let's see. Let's tell it to go to the next stop and make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do with double traffic on here. And while it's doing that, I will give you some other tips. Mainline. It's a way overused word on the YouTube, but a mainline is actually important in a sense that you should think about how you want to connect everything that you have before you build anything else, which means don't build your industries, but don't build it really close to where your main line is going to be. In this case, the main line is just the rail line that you want to connect something to. If you put your industries really close to it, you are forced to effectively integrate the main line with the industries, which is not good. Put your industries far enough away where you can put one junction that will enable you to build as big or as little as you need to go. So the way that you have it here makes sense in the beginning, but then there's just too much stuff going on here. Another solution is potentially, if you had a little bit of room here, just go around the back. There's so much free space here. Go around the back and just come back in here and do whatever you need to do. It just adds a lot of fuel costs that you really don't need. So what I would tell you in the beginning is go ahead and lay out some basic network traffic. And I just want to find a customs house that also has a a rail line connection, and it's very possible that we don't have that. So yeah, we don't have one. That's okay. Do you have one? No. All right. When you get to a customs house and you plan out your first everything, here's what I would do. Get some road. In this case, I'm just going to use a simple mud road. Lay out your first plan. Say, I want my mud road to run here, and I want my first city here, I want my first industry there. Great. Cool. That's your plan. Put down some names if you want to. Right here, there's a city now. And over here, I want the industry now, and over here, I want something else. Doesn't matter. And then you're like, okay, how do I want the rail to run? Okay, look at the landscape. It's going to be really hard to get rail through there, but here, there's a little mountain that we can probably make rail happen. So get some rail, just very basic. Let's imagine that there's a rail connection right here and say, okay, I want my line to run here. I want a little rail yard there. I'm going to go over this mountain all the way around here. And then I remember that I had some industry here. Let's go close to that industry. It doesn't have to be super close, but just close enough where I can put an industry here and now can get a connection. Then at least build out your mainline connection. In this case, I'm just going to do a very crude, very simple connection like this. Rail is just connected there. Then you say, oh, I'm expecting a lot of traffic here. Okay, build yourself a little rail yard so you have a chance to have trains wait just for a little while. This doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be built right away. But having this in the beginning will help you figure out what you need for your rail. And then the important thing is this. Once you have the rail created this way, do not split it up into, I would like a junction here. Okay. And then, oh, I would also like to go the other way. All right, well, there's a junction here. If you now find yourself saying, oh, there's another thing here that I need to connect to, and do this, don't do that. Because now you have this little piece in between, and if we just do it like this and look at the signals and put a couple signals here, we can see what I mean. You have this little piece here that doesn't serve any purpose. It's now a big junction. You can try to separate the junction with chain signals in the middle of it, which do work. I concur with that. But what are you going to do with this little piece of blue? You fit a rail construction crane in there. That's good. But overall, this is not very useful for normal trains because normal trains are at least 100 meters long, probably when you run them properly down the road. So if you do have something that you need to get to over here, get rid of this extra junction, so now you only have this junction and a relatively long block that is blue. What you want to do is use this junction that you already have, or move the junction, doesn't matter, and make these sidings the thing that connects the rest of the network. So this one can go up here and do something there, and then give yourself enough of a block. So we're just going to extend this to a reasonable size and just say, okay, now this is just a little piece of side track, ideally for a junction, and it doesn't continue for too much longer. And now you can just throw a little bit of a rail bridge in here. It's just one way. You can also do a level crossing if you absolutely have to. Wouldn't recommend it because it kind of defeats the whole purpose. But yeah, get some rail bridges in here. And now you're using one junction for 2 jobs. Whatever this connects to really doesn't matter. It's just the principle of it. Okay, so that's this junction. And yeah, you can put an industry here, you can put a bunch of other things here, and then yeah, just make this a terminal so you don't want to use too much of your sidetrack as a main line. Just use your main line as a main line and keep the number of junctions for your main line to a minimum. What we had before is you had a lot of junctions on your main line because you only had one line, and they were not even separated, and there was not enough space in between. You want to avoid that. Just keep a good flow, and for your diesel station, just make your diesel stations be part of the track that a train has to take. And you can tell it to take that path, but then you actually have to assign it to their thing. So in this case, you're going to the customs house right now. So after this train station, just tell it, I want you to go to the gas station. And at the gas station, do whatever you want to do. Pretty sure it will reload here, if it can, because now it drives through the gas station and will get fuel, but having it like on the way like this is a lot simpler. That's really all there is. Just for rail, think really big and try to think early, because if you add rail really late, it's going to be really, really, really hard, and you don't want to go there. Plan it out a little bit, figure out what things you want to put where, and then start building. This game really requires you to plan ahead a lot, and it's really easy to get things wrong, but while you're in the planning phase, it's really easy to fix it too. So don't build, and then think, and then build once. Should get you further. Nicola, I hope this helped you a little bit. If you have more questions, please let me know. Put it in the comments, put it on the Reddit thread if you want, but hope this is helpful. Thank you very much for sending this, and everyone else. If you have fixes, if you have problems, big or small, early or late, doesn't matter, send it in. If I can fix it, I would like to try. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.